Hola clase, hoy vamos a hablar sobre los complementos directos. Okay, so our topic for today is going to be direct objects and direct object pronouns. First, let's talk about direct objects. As you can see here, direct objects receive the action of the verb. So in the sentence, we do our homework. Homework is the direct object. You can easily find the direct object in a sentence by asking the question who or what about the verb. Look at these two sentences. I read a book. What do I read? A book. Okay, so book is my direct object. Here, Juan sees Eva. Who does Juan see? Eva. So Eva is my direct object. Okay, so let's now talk about direct object pronouns. As you could probably guess from the name, direct object pronouns take the place of a direct object. So look at our sentence here. She buys the ticket. What does she buy? The ticket. Okay, so ticket is your direct object. You could replace your direct object here with a direct object pronoun and say she buys it. Okay, so direct object pronouns are pretty common in Spanish, just like they are in English, and that's because they make it easier for us. We don't have to be redundant and repeat the direct object over and over when both the speaker and the person they're talking to know what they're talking about. You can easily see that in this example. So, do you have my cell phone? No, I don't have it. Okay, what were they talking about here in the answer with no, I don't have it? They were talking about the cell phone. Okay, but because the direct object had already been stated, they could, in the answer, replace the direct object with a direct object pronoun. Okay? So, what do your direct object pronouns look like in Spanish? In this chart, all of your direct object pronouns are written in blue. Okay, their English meanings are written next to them in black. I would like for you on your note guide to fill out the rest of this chart by filling in the English. Okay, so let's go over these quickly. Me means me. Te means you, familiar. Lo means you, formal, him or it. La means you, formal, her or it. Nos means us. Os means you, plural. Los means you, plural, or them. Las means you, plural, or them. When you go to use direct object pronouns in Spanish, you do have to be aware of a couple things. One of the first things is that your direct object pronoun, your DOP, is what I commonly call it. Your DOP must match the word it's replacing in number and gender. Let's take a closer look at that rule. Look down here where it says examples. The first one says, I buy the blouse. Okay, so what do I buy? The blouse. Okay, so blouse is my direct object. I could replace that and say, I buy it. So to replace blouse, I look up here in my chart. There's two ways to say it. Lo and la. You can see here that I'm going to choose la because la blusa is feminine. Okay? So to say, I buy it, in Spanish you would say, yo la compro. Look at the second example. She wears the socks. What does she wear? The socks. Okay, so socks is your direct object. If I wanted to replace socks and say them, I go up here in the chart and see there's two ways to say them. I'm going to want to choose los because socks is masculine. Okay, so to say she wears them, ella los lleva. Alright, when using direct object pronouns, you must also know where to put them in the sentence. Okay? So always, when you have one verb in your sentence, you need to know that your direct object pronoun, your DOP, will come right before that conjugated verb. Look at the example here. Yo te veo. I see you. Okay, so you put your DOP right before the conjugated verb. I always like to tell the students that when you have one verb, you have one option as to where your pronoun goes. It goes in front. Okay, when you have two verbs in that sentence and those two verbs are right next to each other, you have two options as to where you can put the DOP. First option, you can put it before the first verb. Okay, so put it before the conjugated verb. This sentence here says, yo te puedo ver. I can see you. Your second option is to attach that pronoun to the second verb. Yo puedo verte. I can see you. Both options are completely correct. If you ever have doubt as to where you should put that pronoun, always put it right before, immediately before the conjugated verb. Okay? You won't ever get into trouble there. All right. Now, let's practice using direct object pronouns a little more in some sentences. The directions here say, replace the underlined word with the correct DOP. Let's do number 1 together. It says in English, I have the passport. Okay, over here you want to say, I have it. So look on your chart, there's 2 ways to say it. Are you going to pick lo or la? Hopefully you would have picked lo, because el pasaporte is masculine. Okay, please pause me, and please do numbers 2 through 6, and then we'll check our answers. Okay, number 2. She packs the suitcase. She packs it. Ella la hace. Number 3. I visit the stores. Yo las visito. 4. I see the passengers. Yo los veo. Notice this personal a, it went away, okay, when I made the direct object into a direct object pronoun. Number 5. You buy the tickets. Tú los compras. And 6. Juan looks at the itinerary. Juan lo mira. Okay. Hopefully you did well on this and you were able to replace your direct object with the correct direct object pronoun. We've got a couple more practice sentences to do. This one is a little bit more challenging. The directions say, answer these questions using a DOP. Look at the first question. It says, ¿Tienes las maletas contigo? Do you have the suitcases with you? Yes, I have them. Okay, so you've got to do 2 things here. First, I have them. How would you say I have? Hopefully you would have said tengo. And then them. The them that I'm talking about is las maletas, the suitcases. So would you replace las maletas with los or las? Okay, hopefully you would have said las because this is feminine. And finally, you put them in the correct order. Your pronoun always goes in front when there's one verb. So your final answer would be sí. Yo las tengo. All right, please pause me and work on numbers 2 and 3. Okay, repasemos. Number 2, do you see the airport? Yes, I see it. Sí, yo lo veo. Number 3, you've got 2 verbs here, so be careful. Puedes traer los boletos. Can you bring the tickets? Yes, I can bring them. Okay, so option 1, sí, yo los puedo traer. With option 1, I put my direct object pronoun in front of the first verb. In option 2, puedo traerlos, I attached my direct object pronoun to the second. Both of these are absolutely correct. I just put both correct answers because we had 2 verbs. And we remember from our notes earlier that when we have 2 verbs back to back, I have two options as to where I can put the dop: in front of the first or attached to the second. Okay, if you have any questions, please take a second and write down that question or comment on your note guide. You may also see the notes provided on page 41 of your textbook. Okay,